Hello, my name's Gustavo Ortega. Do you want to read a Hoof Press newspaper? I could read 1.5 billion of these.
No thanks, I already have one.
Mama always said life was like a newspaper. You never know what story you're gonna read. Let's see, on CSI Today! Hello, my name is Gustavo Ortega, and this is
Ali Shiha.
And this is CSI Today. Scientists have predicted that a massive earthquake might hit the Pacific Northwest at any time.
It has been reported that the earthquake will occur as a result of the Cascadia subduction zone that ranges from Vancouver Island, Canada to Cape Medicino in California. Those who do not know what the Cascadia subduction zone is a tectonic plate that is moving slowly against the Earth's crust. As pressure builds, sudden movement can result in an earthquake.
If the earthquake hits with a full force, it is expected to last about 3 minutes and have a magnitude of 9.0. It would also result in a tsunami that is 30 times more powerful than the tsunami that struck Japan in 2011.
Schools near the ocean have practiced tsunami drills over the years. In these drills, students practice getting to the top floor of their building. However, scientists predict that the tsunami could be much higher than the schools.
As a way to prepare, a newly built school in Westport, Washington is said to have an evacuation building on top of it. According to school superintendent Paula Ackerland, this structure is the first of its kind in the U.S.
Despite preparations, scientists say that it is difficult to predict when the earthquake could happen due to it being underwater.
In other scientific news this week, physicists have found evidence to support the theory of gravitational waves.
They were first discovered last year in September, but the finds were released on February 11th of this year.
What are gravitational waves, you ask?
In order to understand what gravitational waves are, we must first have a basic understanding of Einstein's general theory of relativity. According to this theory, gravity is generated by distortion or stretching and compression of space and time.
If the theory is correct, objects that speed up should send small distortions or ripples through space and time.
Einstein developed this theory in 1915, and since then, astrologists and scientists alike have been searching for these elusive waves in space.
This discovery has scientists riled up for 3 reasons. First, it helps them look at the universe through a new light.
Second, the best telescopes show that scientists know very little about black holes, but gravitational waves can assist them in discovering more. And third, these waves prove Einstein's theory, making it a law.
The gravitational waves were discovered by a team of scientists at the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO for short.
Sounding off as a small chirp, lasting at 1/5 of a second. These gravitational waves were produced by 2 colliding black holes that merged to form a single black hole 1.3 billion years ago.
The waves are infinitesimally small, 1/1000th the size of a proton. These small waves can stretch and compress space.
It took special detectors, the LIGO system, to detect these tiny ripples.
Physicists already use visible and other spectra of light, X-rays, and microwaves to observe the universe.
Now they can use gravitational waves too.
I wonder if I can use gravitational waves to solve some of Southridge's first world problems.
They're gonna want to smash it.
Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too? Why you gotta...
Alright guys, let's review real quick. Immanuel Kant, would he be considered a deontologist or a consequentialist? Ruben!
And it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distance.
Guys, the next activity we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in small groups on a special project.
You and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, and you, me and you, me and you.
Oh, and by the way, I'll be picking your groups for you.
I was true to you. I finally settled down. Then you gon' turn around and betray the trust I had in you. It's not fair. After all I treated you.
Run.
Not in service at this time.
Hey, you got gum? Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Can I have one too?
On August 31st of last year, CSI revisited Ferguson, Missouri, 1 year after the death of Michael Brown.
And now more from Sakari Byrne on the latest in Ferguson.
Let's take two pieces of history and lay them side by side. One, a history plagued with injustice and fear. The other, a simple story of convenience through evolution. The first is the relationship between police and their minority constituency. The second, how police went from walking a beat to driving a beat while out on patrol. What they have in common? The evolution of one had arguably helped contribute to the turmoil of the other. But let's backtrack. In 2014, a white police officer shot and killed an unarmed black teenager, Michael Brown, in Ferguson, Missouri. Protests ensued and polarization occurred between supporters of law enforcement and civil rights activists. It seemed impossible to find middle ground on the issue, and so this divergence greatly contributed to an even wider distrust between police officers and the communities they served. This brings us to the evolution of policing in America. Police stations started out as nothing more than small wooden shelters known as watch boxes, and were rarely larger than the size of an outhouse. Patrolling officers would walk around their neighborhood constantly interacting with the residents, and on occasion, checking in at their posts. But everything changed with the invention of the automobile. This allowed officers to patrol neighborhoods within the confines of their cars, reducing interaction between officers and community members. This granted officers the ability to patrol larger areas outside their own neighborhoods, requiring the construction of large, intimidating police stations and inadvertently cutting ties between the officers and those they serve. After the shooting of Michael Brown, no place in the U.S. saw a greater divide than Ferguson, where mistrust boiled over into violent protest, eventually prompting an investigation by the Obama administration and the Justice Department into Ferguson's policing policies. Regardless of the investigation's findings, pointing a finger at those culpable is just simply not going to solve this issue. Enter Janine Gang, a Chicago-based architect whose firm has addressed this issue, but from a very different perspective: architecture. Gang is a Harvard graduate whose work primarily revolves around the idea of community. After considering the problems in Ferguson and those listed in President Obama's task force for a 21st century policing report, Gang proposed radical changes to the police station.
The physical building itself. Instead of constructing a building with the intent to intimidate the public, Gang believes the building should be inviting. It should encourage interaction between law enforcement and the members of the community. The idea of the station is expected to uphold 6 pillars of character and purpose, including building trust and legitimacy, and offer safety and wellness. It includes spaces for community meetings, a place for worship, mental health services, gymnasiums, and other recreational centers, and office housing. Gang says the station more closely reflects a small college campus instead of a traditional law enforcement building. The innovative plans aim to break down the conventional barriers society has created that separate police from their communities and vice versa, in an attempt to change the way they view each other and to foster a collaborative relationship that works towards building safer and friendlier communities.
Now off to our field reporter, Eileen.
Hi, I'm Ellie Martinez reporting to you from CSI Today, and I'm here with Kaz and Isaiah.
Well, after the riots, I think there's still going to be people who aren't, feel upset about the situation, so there still will be fights and there will still be chaos.
And furthermore, there'll be a lot of violent protests, like a lot more assaults on police officers because they feel like change isn't happening.
How do you guys think the community should strengthen?
I believe like the Black Lives Matters program should like really step up. This is their time to really show what it's really about, and they should like continue to protest, but not with violence, because violence don't make a better thing.
Yeah, it's all about love. It's what's in here that counts.
Thank you for watching this. I'm Gustavo Ortega.
And I'm Ollie Sheeha.
And this is CSI Today!
Run.
Hershey. Let's go!
Anytime.
It has been reported on there.
Slow down. Breathe.
Good job, man.
Infinitesimally? How do you even pronounce that, O'Hara? The word is really weird. They're just telling me
We're not even doing anything.
Hi, I'm Eileen Martinez, and I'm reporting to you from CSI.